doesn't have a quorum.
Two, three. I'm going to call this meeting to order. If you would, follow along with the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by an invocation from Eric Schmidt.
Our Father in heaven, we thank thee for this wonderful fall day that we've had in the Ozarks. Father, we are so grateful to thee for the many blessings that thou hast bestowed upon this community. And Father, we are grateful to thee for the employees and aldermen and others that serve this city and area so well. We now ask thee to please give us special blessings upon those that we are honoring tonight, as well as to bless our aldermen with the spirit of discernment and our speakers with gift of thy tongue. Father, we ask thee to continue to bless this community as we seek to strive to make this a shining example for the rest of the United States. And we ask these things in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you, Chief. Madam Clerk, we had a roll call, please.
Lucas, Denham. Here. Cooper. Here. Milton.
Here.
Howden. Here. LeBlanc. Here. Schultz.
Virtually here.
Is Alderman Lucas online?
He is not. Alderman Schultz is, but not Alderman Lucas.
Okay. Before we start the meeting tonight, I'm going to ask all of us to take just a moment of silence for those lives that have been lost from Helene, from the devastation, from those still missing. There's a lot of pain going on, and if you would, let's just take a moment to reflect. Thank you. We'll start off tonight's meeting with the Employee of the Month. Director Powell, would you please present your Employee of the Month of the Utilities Department?
Good evening. Mike, on behalf of the Mayor, Board of Aldermen, City Administrator, and City staff, I am honored to announce Utilities Administrative Service, excuse me, hold on, wrong one. That's not it. That's not it either, hold on.
I'll continue on. Mike, you're very much appreciated by the city.
Don't let him walk away. This is good, though. Yeah, Mike, if you know Mike, this fits perfect with him. So he's glad I'm up here faltering around here. All right. So on behalf of the Mayor, Board of Aldermen, City Administrator, and City staff, it is my honor to announce utility worker Michael Cheney as City of Branson's October 2024 Service and Excellence Employee of the Month. Mike Cheney, a.k.a. Chum, has been part of the meter maintenance crew for the past 11 years. Over the years, he has demonstrated excellent customer service skills, a strong knowledge of everything that goes on into keeping the meter maintenance department operational, and the ability to patiently teach and train new employees who come into the meter maintenance department. Mike is very safety conscious when doing tasks involving equipment and always makes sure those around him are wearing their PPE. Mike leads by example and is very thorough when showing new employees how to perform the daily task of work orders, changing out meters, checking for and helping customers find leaks. reading meters, and filling out all the paperwork that goes into each of these tasks. Mike is very knowledgeable about adjoining water systems, such as Missouri American Water and Public Water District Number 3, where most of their meters are located, and has an ongoing good working relationship with the other crews from those systems. One of Mike's strongest assets is his customer service skills. He is excellent at helping customers find and understand their leak issues and confidently steers them on the right path to help them resolve their problem. On more than one occasion, I have witnessed him talk to a customer that was very upset about a leak event and calm them down by staying steady and reassuring them that their situation is not as bad as they might think. Another department that is integral in the daily operations of meter maintenance is the finance department. Our daily communication with them is an important part of successfully executing all work orders that come our way. Mike maintains excellent communication with them and demonstrates good problem-solving skills, working alongside Michelle, Kayla, and Katrina. And lastly, we have the guy that we all know and love as Chum, the guy that makes us all laugh. He can get us through the hard day, a tough job, or just makes everyday lunches at the shop a little more interesting in a good way. Michael provides outstanding customer service and embodies the City of Branson values. He is a great example of a valued held high by the City of Branson. Congratulations and keep up the good work.
Kendall, we gotta come up with.
Hey, how do I get in this picture?
Don't sit down.
Hard to see through all that facial hair.
Congratulations, Chum. Next, Chief Martin will provide an introduction to an honor received by one of his employees. Chief?
Holly, I might need your help here in just a second. A little bit of excitement for the Kansas City Chiefs. Thank you. Winning over the Saints last night. But there was more excitement at the stadium last night. Watch this video real quick.
29 years, where he serves as a fire engineer. He also serves his community by serving as a member of the Missouri Disaster Medical Team, where he helps serve the people of Missouri in disaster incidents. Please join us in thanking Jason Jackson for his commitment to our community.
There's 80,000 people, our partnership
That's
between the Chamber
excellent.
and the City of Branson working as Jason Gagnapane was recognized last night. Jason is fully involved here in the fire department, fully involved with his work. He's part of our Swift Water team. He's our Honor Guard commander with his family. He's not here tonight. Chief, should I be here or should I be at my son's soccer game? Be at the soccer game, right?
right.
That's where he's at. Be involved with your family and then be involved with your community. He's on the disaster medical team. He was in Kansas City when the shooting took place. And so that team is present at all the parades and special events across the country. So well done, Jason Gagnapane. Give him a big round of applause.
Yay, Jason!
I'm so glad Holly's here to pump that up a little bit. Just briefly, also, if I could keep the floor for 30 more seconds, I do want to share with you that thank you for recognizing the events on the East Coast. We do have 2 firefighters that are currently with part of Missouri Task Force 1. That's Josh Boehm, and then also Engineer Billy Wayne Kefford are part of that. They've been doing search and rescue, recovery. They've used everything from helicopters to drones to canines to boats. That team has been partnered with Pennsylvania 1 and a few other states representing. So Josh should be on his way back. Billy Wayne will be there for 10 more days, but your firefighters are engaged with that statewide team. Thank
Thank you, Ted.
you.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Hey, I would also like to say a big thank you to Heather and our TCED reps for helping coordinate the Hometown Hero program with the Kansas City Chiefs. It took a lot of coordinating, and so just thank you for everybody who was involved in that too.
So, Hill, do we have speakers tonight?
Yes, sir, we have 4 speakers.
Okay, so this is the public comment section of the Board of Aldermen meeting. At this time, the board will hear from citizens who have signed up in the order they are listed. Please note, the clerk will let the speakers know when they have 30 seconds left with the notification sound when their time is up. We ask that speakers wrap up their comments upon hearing the 30-second warning. If a speaker would like a board member to bring down an item from the consent agenda for additional discussion, please note this request during your comments. Please come to this freestanding mic and address the board. Madam Clerk, who's number 1?
Our first speaker is Bobby Wydeen, speaking on thanks to Parks and Rec.
Hello, Bobby.
For us shorties. Good evening, Mayor and Aldermen. Actually, I have 2 shout-outs. The first shout-out is to Cindy at Parks and Rec. The Branson Christian Church youth used Liberty Plaza on Saturday, September 28th, which we had to go through the Parks Department to be able to rent that for that time. And we collected over 500 pounds of food and personal care items for CAM. We do a drive-through food drop-off. And we call it Cram the Van.
Cute.
So Cindy is easy to work with and help the youth be successful, so we are really excited about that. And then a second shout out to, or I want to thank the Branson Engine 4 and firefighters who visited our Head Start Center and did a great job. They came last week. The kids were all really excited, and they enjoyed the when they dressed up in the gear, and especially loved the fire truck. So we just want to say thank you.
Bobby, thank you very much for that. Bobby, did they turn on the lights and sirens?
Just a little bit of sirens. We didn't want to scare the little.
Okay. Thanks, Tad. Who's next?
Mona Miller, speaking on storm relief.
I'm here to let you know that we're going to have a storm relief meeting tomorrow at 5751 State Highway 165 in Branson. It's the Stagecoach RV Park Clubhouse. We do have KY3s going to come. And what we're doing is we have got to find a spot to park a 40-foot trailer and start collecting supplies to go to the storm victims. I mean, Milton's going to do a lot of damage tonight and tomorrow, and we really need to step up to the plate and be prepared to take disaster relief stuff to those hit by these horrible storms. And so I know Branson always steps up to the plate. I can always count on them. But I'm going to be asking the citizens of Branson, if you own housing that is normally on a nightly rental, that's going to remain empty all winter long, like out on 65 and 265, all of those big buildings, I need houses. If you are a multiple building owner, I need you to give 10% of your buildings as housing vouchers that we can take to these people who have nothing. Remind you, these people worked in a tourist industry. Those people that we will bring here will be an asset to our city. But right now, I need the Christians and the Christian attitude that reeks in this town to step up to the plate and help me not only be able to provide things that they need, like right now they're needing Carhartts, warm coats, they're needing gloves, they're needing hot hands, they're out in those woods cutting down trees and they'll be doing it all winter, and they need a bottle of bear spray. You don't understand. This is bear country, and all the bears have been displaced, and we're having trouble, or my people are having trouble collecting the dead because of the bears. So we really need to send some bear spray. And also, one more thing is during my convoy of honor on the 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th of November, we will have a truck at the state park collecting Christmas. It's Ozark Mountain Christmas time, and I think Branson needs to send Christmas to the relief center where Samaritan's Purse is housing lots of people. I want to see lights and Christmas trees, and we want to take Christmas to the mountain.
Very nice. Thank you, Mona.
Mona, what time are you having your?
5:30 p.m. tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else have any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mona. Madam Clerk?
Our next speaker is Deanna Slatton, speaking on health.
I know I've come here several times asking you guys about the LOIs, and today I'm coming here to explain to you why those are so critical for me. I have 3 children, 2 with autism and 1 that has a brain defect. That we live close to a tower, very close, probably a football field. This stuff is real. The 5G is absolutely real, and it is a weapon on the people. And I want this weapon shut down. If we can't regulate this, why do we have it? Why can't we drop down to 4G or 3? This is stuff that I have tried and tried and tried to get you guys to listen to. This is the information, and I gave all that information to Holly, and I've asked her, did she give it to you guys? And I'm not getting any communication from any one of you, not even her. And this is stuff that the people need to know about. And not only that, but we have other people, the people that I told you about with the CDC and the WHO and the WEF and all of them, these people are infiltrating our government. These people are also from Israel. They have dual citizenship. These people are some of the people that actually worship Baal and Moloch. These are Baal worshipers and Moloch worshipers. And we have them in our government. They are also Hamas. They are also ISIS. These are things our people out here needs to know. These are things that are happening in our communities, and they're all behind COVID, the ones that I'm telling you about. They're behind it. And I've done my research, and I've got the paperwork and everything else on this that I've given to her and other people around here. And if we don't do something, we're going to lose our country. And not only that, but the hurricane victims are getting told to bow down to Israel over their stuff. And I don't think that's cool. And I saw that in our contract. And I don't think we need to be bound down to any country but our own country. We are the United States of America. We are not America, Israel. So that's what I came here to say. And I have no problem with the Jewish people whatsoever, but I do when we have this kind of stuff going on. So thank you for allowing me to say that. Thank you.
Thank you, Deanna. Madam Clerk?
Our final speaker is Alex Williams, speaking on proactive government.
Good evening, Mayor, Board, City staff, and fellow residents. My name's Alex, and I have one of the unique opportunities of leading one of the committees at the Chamber titled the Proactive Government Committee. That committee is one of 5 topics that was set up back in 2017 as a priority for the community, the residents and the business owners that may not reside in the city, as a line of effort that they wanted to see carried forward. And what I wanted to share tonight was, obviously, the mayor, Ms. Kathy, Alex, a lot of the folks in this room were there. The board, this is mainly a report for you all and then the citizens that aren't here. what's really cool is you know you're winning as a resident whenever you have a committee that's not only titled Proactive Government, we want to have a proactive government, but all the key players are there. So we had our top 3 folks coming and representing the city. We had the chamber leadership there. We had business owners, developers, engineers, realtors, the stakeholders. And so for me, as a member of the committee, it's encouraging to know that those folks take it serious and they come to those meetings. And if you had a chance, and some of you were, if you had a chance to listen to the conversations that were going, there's a willingness. There's a willingness to give and take. There's a willingness to move forward. There's a willingness to have a strategy and move forward instead of just, at a surface level, sometimes we fall victim to the idea of perception as reality. Oh no, the city's failing. They don't care about us. They only take issues from the loudest person at the public comment microphone. And if you're in that room, you know good and well that that's not the case. And so for me, I feel like it was necessary to come out of that meeting and share with as many people as possible that the city of Branson, the Branson Chamber and CVB, and this community are on something really special. I made a comment. There's 2 I want to share. One, I call this administration at the city and at the chamber the elevator administration, because although there's been problems in the past and they've been compounded with interest, this administration here and that administration at the chamber are working in unison to solve the problem and just put an end to kicking the can down the road. And I think we're going to see that that's going to start paying great dividends for us. The other thing that I wanted to share, and it came with conversations with Ms. Pam, is that there's 3 capital resources that come to play. And this is going to sound cheesy, but it's how I feel, and I think a lot of the folks in that meeting feel this way. Revenue is something that we're always going to have conversations over. Who deserves it? Where does it come from? How are we going to earn it? How are we going to spend it? That's fine. The next thing is communication. That is something that doesn't cost us money, but if we get really good at it and we share it with everybody, it's going to solve a lot of our problems. Most businesses and government's biggest pit failure is a lack of communication or a lack of understanding. And then the last item, probably the most important item that doesn't cost anything, but is an organic resource to the Ozark Mountain area, is hospitality. The moment that we shift the gear to being hospitable amongst each other as government-citizen relationship, government to nonprofit, the same way we would a guest that comes to Branson, because that's why people come here. They want that hospitality. When we're able to do that and kind of give whenever we don't always want to, we're going to see that collaboration that's going to break down some of these old paradigms that kind of hold us back. Like, Branson's very special, but that once we're able to bust down some of those old ways of thinking, I think that's where we're going to see it. And so that was some of the conversations that happened in a 2-hour meeting over at the chamber, and I felt like the folks that weren't there deserved to hear it. That's the folks that aren't really in this room, because all of you are in this room for the most part, or all in all of these meetings, so it's not news to you, but it's mainly for everyone else. So thank you for doing what you do. It's easy for you to just go about whatever way you want to do it, but there's a spirit of collaboration. Thankful to be a resident in Branson.
Before you leave, I want you to know that this administration and this Board of Aldermen and our chamber and our TCD, we are so appreciative that you stood up to be the chair of this committee. You had an excellent meeting that we just recently attended, and we're so optimistic with your leadership that we're going to get things done and not just talk about it. So thank you very much.
It means the world. It's an honor and a blessing. I look forward to helping however I can.
Thank you.
Before you
Alex.
leave. No, I'm just kidding. Here's a challenge: unreasonable hospitality. It's the title of a book I just recently listened to, and it's what I've been talking about. Like, that's something extra. It's doing more than even expected, and I think it starts with leadership here, and it works its way out to leadership there at the CVB and the chamber, and then each individual person in their business just doing more than it's expected. And that doesn't cost anything, because sometimes it's a thank you or an extra smile or just looking down at that little kid and just saying, hey, have a nice day. But being unreasonable about the level of hospitality we deliver is what's going to keep us relevant in this climate. And I think it's so vitally important that we focus on that level of hospitality, like ridiculously unreasonable.
Yeah, 100%, I agree. As soon as we're able to do that, again, it's not something that's going to come out of your wallet. It does swallow some pride. It does require a sacrifice. But at the end of the day, if you care about the the overall picture, which is the future of Branson, a lot hangs in the balance based on our willingness to do that. We'll stay that way. It's who we are as an organic group of people, but we're just going to stifle getting to that next step, I think, until we're able to, for the most part, all come together and pitch in on the hospitality.
And I think it's an infectious movement that once we start between the two organizations or the multiple organizations within the city, it becomes infectious throughout the city.
And I feel like that burden of responsibility falls back on us as citizens as well. And being an informed citizen is a big piece of that. That's the media as well. That requires everybody. And sometimes we kind of drill down on one particular agency. It doesn't matter what it is or what topic. But to your point, yeah, that's going to be the secret weapon that gets us where we want to go.
Thank you very much, Alex. Next is the consent agenda. Are there any items that any member of the board would like to have moved down from the consent agenda to ask additional questions or make comments? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, would you please read the items on the consent agenda?
Your Honor, the items on the consent agenda are as follows. Approval of Board of Aldermen minutes for the September 24th, 2024 study session and September 24th, 2024 regular meeting. Acknowledge receipt of monthly contract report from September 3rd, 2024 to September 29th, 2024. Final reading of Bill Number 6487, an ordinance approving the public service agreement with the Veterans Memorial Garden Incorporated for maintaining the beauty of the Branson Veterans Memorial Garden and authorizing the mayor to execute the documents related thereto. Final reading of Bill Number 6489, an ordinance for municipal code amendments throughout Chapter 94, changing the term nightly rental to short-term rental. Final reading of Bill Number 6490, an ordinance amending the Branson Municipal Code for short-term rental regulations in Chapter 18, buildings and building regulations regarding Section 18-27, subsection 903 and 907 pertaining to the requirements for sprinkler and alarm systems, in Chapter 42, Fire Prevention and Protection regarding Section 42-55, subsection 903 and 907 pertaining to the International Fire Code to remove the parking map requirement, and in Chapter 90, Utilities regarding Section 90-81 pertaining to system connection charges to change the term nightly to short-term. Final reading of Bill Number 6491, an ordinance amending Chapter 22 of the Branson Municipal Code pertaining to short-term rentals to remove certain requirements and add fire inspection fee to Appendix A, and final reading of Bill Number 6492, an ordinance accepting the revised quitclaim deed and the revised legal description for the donation of land and lift station to the City of Branson from Point Royale Property Owners Association Incorporated. Your Honor, that concludes the reading of the consent agenda.
We have a motion approving all items on the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, would you take a roll call vote, please?
Lucas, Denham,
Yes.
Cooper,
Yes.
Howden,
Yes.
LeBlanc,
Yes.
Schultz.
Yes.
The result of the vote is 5-0. Motion carries. Your Honor, the next item is a presentation by Timothy Haygood on cooperative marketing dollars for the Chamber's CVB.
Thank you, and we'll begin with a report from Mr. Tim Haygood.
Thank you very much. Before we get started, from the Haygoods and myself, we would just like to say a huge thank you to the Aldermen, the City of Branson, the Chamber of Commerce for allowing us to have the opportunity to sing the national anthem for the Chiefs. It was a life-changing, extraordinary experience and brought a lot of publicity to Branson. And so we blew up this most amazing picture we'd like to present to the City of Branson on behalf of the Haygoods, just as a huge thank you.
That'd be great. Wow.
Yeah, thank you again. Absolutely amazing. And just so you know, the videos online of the performance and everything surrounding it had just millions and millions of views. And there's no question brought a lot of heat to the community, you know, from a public relations perspective. So thank you very much for giving us the opportunity. I'm actually here today to express my support for the TCED Chamber and City of Branson Co-op Marketing Program. Slide 2, please. Additionally, I'm also speaking on behalf of 95% of the shows in Branson, represented by Branson Show Tickets Direct. And I have spoken with about 95% of the shows directly before I came here today. Slide 3, please. So the co-op marketing program was initiated 2 years ago, And it was designed as a collaborative effort between the Chamber, the TCED, the City of Branson, and Branson Shows to sell full-price tickets directly to customers using Google AdWords to intercept them. This program is a shared investment with the Chamber and the TCED contributing 50% of the funds, while the shows provide the other 50%, ensuring that everyone involved has a vested interest in the program's success. Slide 4, please. In 2023, the program for shows delivered 847,000 clicks and 8,132,852 impressions. The program has absolutely been a unanimous, tremendous success for Branson Shows, helping to attract customers and to boost direct full-price ticket sales. One of the reasons why the program has been so effective is that it's a collaboration between the shows working together through Branson Show Tickets Direct to maximize the return on investment for marketing dollars. And I'll take a moment right now to explain what Branson Show Tickets Direct is and why it is so integral to the success of the entire program. Slide 5, please. So BransonShowTicketsDirect.com was established 4 years ago as a platform to sell full-price tickets to the general public for all Branson shows. It serves as a revenue generator and enables shows to fund additional Google AdWords campaigns. Here's how it works. So when a ticket is sold on BransonShowTicketsDirect.com or any connected show website, which is most of them in town, a $3 fee is charged to the customer. These fees are pulled together to fund further Google AdWords campaigns specifically for promoting the shows. Slide 6, please. In 2023, Branson Show Tickets Direct sold 94,121 tickets. We generated $5 million in online sales. We collected $225,000 in ticket fees, which was reinvested in Google AdWords advertising. There are shows like Stampede and Shepherd that are not on the system, that are not even included in these numbers. So the actual sales are a little bit higher than that. Slide 7. So here's how we put it all together. Here's how Branson Show Tickets Direct and the co-op marketing program work together. When a ticket is sold through any individual show website who is part of the co-op, customers are introduced to all other participating shows in the system. And this is really important. If you'd only take away one thing from this entire chat, what this means is that the investment from a single click from this program results in multiple sales across various shows. We collect data religiously. Emails, phone numbers from every transaction are gathered and utilized for future marketing. And with tens of thousands of contacts already in our shared database, every single click from this program leads to multiple repeat ticket sales over time. On top of that, the $3 fee that we generate from every ticket sale is reinvested into more Google AdWords advertising, perpetuating a cycle of sales generation. So once again, that single click is utilized to pay dividends long after that initial purchase. Slide 8, please. It's really crucial to recognize the financial impact that full price tickets have on the community. When tickets are sold at full price via show websites or on BransonShowTicketsDirect.com, the full tourism tax is paid to the city and to the TCED. On a $50 full-priced Clay Cooper ticket, the taxes are paid on the entire $50 amount. Now, on the other hand, when shows miss out on direct sales or data collection, the full tax amount is not collected. It's not for me to say how the system is set up or all the ticket sellers or anything else. That's not my place. But it's really important to understand that there's a huge difference between $50 in taxes paid and $15, $20, or in some cases even less paid to the city and to the TCED. Slide number 9. So the shows as a whole, our group, we're not just focused on today. We're looking forward to the future of Branson Shows and how we can continue to innovate. The next major step that we've taken as a show community is we have developed a comprehensive box office system, a full ticketing system inside of our box offices. And you're probably saying, well, what does that have to do with this? The system allows participating shows to sell each other's tickets in real time when a customer calls any one single Branson box office. So a single click from this program is going to come into any one box office. We're going to generate multiple full price ticket sales from that one click. I know it sounds like a pipe dream, but there's actually 2 large theaters, Reza and the Acrobats, who have been testing it for over a year and a half now. There's 4 more theaters that are expected to adopt it in 2025, and conversations are ongoing with 6 more theaters. So we want you all to know that we as a show community are doing every possible thing that we can do to maximize these dollars that you are investing in us. Slide 10, please. In conclusion, I would just like to emphasize that the Chamber and TCED's Google AdWords co-op program has absolutely proven to be the most effective way to promote all Branson shows, generate full price ticket sales, and boost tax revenue both now and into the future. Looking ahead to 2025, we are committed to further enhancing the co-op marketing program. Our primary goal for 2025 is to implement advanced tracking systems that will allow us to measure the precise return on investment for every individual click. And by doing so, we can optimize the efficiency of our marketing efforts and ensure that every dollar spent has maximum impact. Additionally, we are exploring the integration of a broader range of digital marketing tools beyond traditional search engine advertising. As AI-driven search technologies continue to evolve and the search landscape changes, we've got to be on top of that because it is changing and changing fast. So we plan, in conjunction working together with the Chamber, to adopt our strategies to leverage these advancements, ensuring that customers continue to purchase directly from theaters. So the key takeaway today is I want you to know that the show community is once again working diligently all together to maximize the value of this investment. And we, at 95% of the shows in town, I've got the entire list right here, everyone that I've talked to, would ask that we could absolutely renew this program in 2025 and continue forward. So if you have any questions, love to answer them, and I highly appreciate your time.
Tim, you and I have had many discussions on this topic. I've had many discussions with Clay. I think what the road you're going down, and I take my hat off to you for putting the time and effort, because I know you've invested a lot of time into this. We talked years ago when we first came up with the idea of a co-op, right? The value of each dollar that is spent from marketing into this co-op plan and the widespread results from that. Thank you very much for what you're doing. I'll speak for myself. I fully support the road you're exploring, and to continue to have the matched co-op marketing dollars, I will be carrying that flag with you.
Awesome. Thank you. One thing I did forget to mention, even for the shows that cannot afford, if they're very small shows and they're up-and-coming shows, and they cannot afford to participate in the program, they still receive the full benefit of this. Let's say that a ticket comes in on Six's website. Somebody buys that ticket. As soon as that transaction is complete, we kick them over to BransonShowTicketsDirect.com. That happens hundreds and hundreds of times all day long across the entire city with every connected show. So even the shows that are up and coming, the ones that need a chance, are all presented equally on BransonShowTicketsDirect.com. And we're kicking over hundreds of links every day after purchases take place on all of the different show websites in town. So we're really trying to take full responsibility for the future as the show business industry, and every penny that you put into us, make it go really far. Keep in mind that every year that goes on, we get more phone numbers, we get more emails, and we can continue to mine those every single year for additional dollars. So you're not just buying a single click and then a single sale and then it's over. We're doing every possible thing, including all the programs we're implementing, to make sure that those dollars just run, that they go and go and go for years to come.
Yep. Any old?
Yeah,
Ralph?
Mr. Mayor, I've heard this legend of back in the day when Branson, each business supported each other business, and like if one restaurant was out of buns and another restaurant had buns, they would kind of share, and then they would pay them back and things like that. And between the like I think this is the digital version of that, and it really is. And if this co-op is basically the financial launching pad that allows these guys to really take control of their shows and the financial component of it, because there's those issues that we talk about all the time. Thank you so much for the efforts you guys have put in, and I think this is setting best practices, the bar very high for the future, and it looks really good because when those revenues are driven, it motivates people, and it the shows get better and things can be, leveled up, and I think this is really good start. So thank you, Tim.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, and they're reinvesting their monies into additional marketing, right?
Yeah,
Marshall?
every single click that comes in from the co-op program, it generates another $3. I mean, that's huge. And that $3 generates another $3, and it just continues perpetuating. I bet if you did the math, it was difficult to get numbers from every single show. I wanted to bring you the exact math today, but I can confidently say that we're getting pretty close to the tax dollars that you're putting into it, you're getting right back out of it. And that doesn't include anything in the future. And everyone that is also coming here, and spending money and getting used to the idea of buying tickets for full price. The funny thing is we've had many conversations about this. The customer, most of the time, is already paying full price. They just don't know that they need to do that with the theaters. And that's
more.
Or more, or sometimes, in some cases, a lot more. We are changing that. We are re-educating the consumer to understand that when you invest in us, we can up the quality and the value of the shows that we are presenting for your entertainment.
Exactly right.
Yep.
Marshall?
Yeah, no, I just want to reiterate what you said, Mr. Mayor, that I'm in full support of this. I've also shared with the TCED reps that I supported how much of a priority this is, and I've gotten really great feedback from them. And then, the last thing I'll say is, Tim, I'm so excited about your communication with the other shows, because for so long, even as someone who's advocated for the shows, there's been a lot of silos. And I think between you, Clay, the mayor, and myself, we can break through a lot of that and really get full communication between the entire industry, which I don't know that we've ever had, which is just as crucial as what you're sharing today. So I'm going to put you to work on that if you don't mind, but I'm super excited about what you got going, buddy.
I appreciate that. It's taken almost 5 years to get everyone on the same page. But we are. The only shows that are not actively involved in these conversations but are still going to be part of this partnership is Sight and Sound and Dixie. I mean, everybody else is part of these conversations, and we're working together to raise the boat for everybody.
Who owns Branson Show Tickets Direct?
Sure. So the website itself is owned by James Little. He's a neutral third party. He has no, he's not beholden to anybody, but the entire thing is controlled by the shows themselves. We all have direct voting power. No bigger show has direct voting power over any smaller show. And everyone is given equal representation. So we get on Zoom, we talk about issues that we face as a community, anything that might be an emergency that we need to bring to your attention, and we make decisions collectively. And even the shows, as I said, with 100 people every show, and the shows with 1,000 people every show, we talk, we work together to help each other. So out of that $3, yes, James does take a very small cut of that. 50 cents goes to him. He's invested way more hours into this thing than he's gotten out of it. But there's also many purchases that don't go through Branson Show Tickets Direct. There's some websites for shows that don't have that on there. Many of them do, but there's some that don't. And so not everything goes through him. But he has spent way more time building out this thing than he's been compensated for.
What?
I was just going to say, we have a phone room on BransonShowTicketsDirect.com that we also pay for. We pay for the hosting. We pay for everything out of that. And it's very transparent. Everyone knows exactly how much money is being generated, where that money is going, what's happening with it, and how much Google AdWords advertising that we did, and where that money went. And that is presented to everybody completely wide open as far as the actual facts every single meeting.
Because that was the question somebody brought up to me, is like, for every dollar.
Yeah. Is someone trying to make money off this? Yeah.
I guess, like administrative fees, or for every, if somebody bought a $50 ticket, what is taken out, what is not working? I guess, my
absolutely.
question.
No, that's a great question. So out of the $50, and this is very important, out of the $50, the show gets $50. No money is taken from any show. Everything we sell with everybody is all full price. The $3 is added on top of it as a ticket fee to the customer. $2.50 of that gets reinvested back into the Google AdWords pot. 50 cents goes to run the expenses. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and so it's basically 50 cents on every purchase. But everyone sees the numbers. Everyone knows what James is making, and he's way beyond the amount of hours that he's put into it. But we have a vision for the future where we want to take this thing. We believe that if every box office in Branson is connected, that's when everything changes.
Yep.
Because we, at least in our case, and probably in Clay's case too, about 50% of our tickets come in through calls. People still calling. So we take that purchase and then we throw that call is done. We're all finished at that point. We can kick that back to a phone room and sell every single ticket in Branson just from that one single click. You could be looking at $1,000 worth of tickets just from that one click. Yeah, that's the vision. That's where we're headed.
Thank you, Tim, for your presentation tonight.
You
Really
bet.
informative. I like to hear that all businesses are successful, especially our theaters. I'm very happy this is taking place. I wish the best for all of our theaters to just have great success this year.
Thank you.
Any questions, comments from the audience? Representative Seitz is in the house.
Getting old. For the record, I am State Representative Brian Seitz. A question then. So if $50 goes to the actual theater or the show,
Yep.
then how is the tourism tax collected? Is it collected from the theaters?
It's taken out of that $50, yes.
Okay,
correct.
it's taken from them, so they're still paying it.
Yeah.
I think this is a marvelous idea, and I want to remind the board and yourself that I do chair the tourism committee at the state level. So I have that bully pulpit, and everyone knows I'm from Branson. I mention Branson almost every single time that I hold a committee hearing. And this is something that can be presented even statewide, so that, again, our market that may be listening to something that's happening at the Capitol can understand that Branson is open for business, and this is a way that they can easily purchase tickets off of the internet, because that's the way people do it nowadays. You know,
Yep.
most of your ticket sales are probably purchased way ahead of time prior to coming to the theater from the internet. So if I can get some more information on this in a way that we can present it from the Capitol, I'd be more than willing to do that in the next session. So
That would be amazing.
Thank you.
And like you said, I mean, everything that we do is optimized for mobile, which is where most purchases come from.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Thank you.
And so Representative Seitz, when you present it in Jeff City,
Right.
we could add on 3 additional matching dollars from the state.
We'll work, that kind of sounds like raising a tax to me, but I don't know that we'll do that. I am going to let the board know that I am planning on, and I've discussed it with Pam as far as the chamber, having a Branson Day at the Capitol, somewhere when this session takes place, January through May, to have an actual Branson Day. We can have entertainers come up there. I can coordinate time in the rotunda and so forth, and we can present this statewide, presenting what we have here in our city. So
That'd be
That would
great.
be absolutely amazing. Yeah.
thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank-
Yeah, thank you very much. Cool. One more quick thought. The total value of this program, what it generates, $500,000 from city, TCD, chamber, $500,000 from the shows, and on top of that, we generate another $250,000. So $1,250,000 worth of direct searches going to shows, web pages. Is huge. It's just huge. And the impact cannot be understated.
Mr. Mayor?
And-
Sorry.
Well, is there anybody else in the audience have any questions or comments? Oh, brother.
Thank you, Tim. He has really put so much work and thought into this. And sitting and visiting with him, it's not just a solution for today, right? But it's to ensure that we have a healthy future for our live music shows. And to get everybody coming together on the same page is an incredible feat, as we all know. And I just appreciate all the effort that he has put into that. I appreciate, just the shows showing up and working together. And Tim, one thing that I wanted to make sure, and so correct me if I'm wrong, but you assured me, like, when people call in to the office or they click, like, each show gets their money immediately, right? It's not going into a pool and you have to say, well, I think I sold 20. It goes directly to the theater that day, right?
Yes, thank you. That's really important. I did omit that. It is set up so that when the purchase happens, every single show gets their money in their Stripe credit card account instantly. nobody can hold any fees and run out of town. It can't happen. The cart is set up so that even when someone buys 10 different shows, every one of those shows gets paid instantly when the purchase is finished. There's no way for anyone to, no one holds any money.
And Tim, how important is that? Because you and I have both been around long enough to know that people have gathered some funds and adios with it, right?
It was purposely set up so that no person can interfere with anything. If the site was to shut down tomorrow and there was some kind of issue or whatever, no one would lose a single dollar.
Everybody would have their money.
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
thought that was really important for
important.
y'all to know, for the public to know, because, again, there's been some history of some things or whatever, and so I just wanted to make sure.
And also, what's amazing about that is that I'm able to use the revenue from people purchasing tickets for November and December to launch the Christmas show in November, even though they haven't even come yet. That's not the case when it goes a different route. So all the shows are getting their money in advance for anyone coming in the future and can use that for production or to run, anything they need to at the theaters. That's a huge benefit.
So the shows then would be responsible for refunds if there's a cancellation?
Well, sure, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And so, being a banker for many years, when Tim and I sat down and he really explained this to me, I said, I can't think of anything that you can invest in legally that can provide that great of an ongoing, it's not just a one-time investment, one-time payback. It is ongoing. And again, the future of securing our beloved shows, it's what makes us who we are, right? And I want to thank him because, the conversation he and I had, he's like, I'm not going to do this forever. And I may not even have a kid that wants to go, do it. But I love Branson, and I love the theaters, and I'm investing today so that even when I step away, there's that continues. So I just want to say thank you, Tim. Thank
Sure,
you.
no problem.
Thank you.
And just to be clear as well, I am the face of, here talking today, but feel free to call Jeannie at Legends in Concert, call 76 Music Hall, call Hamner Barber, call anybody you want. Ask them what they think of the system. And they'll all tell you the same thing, that it's been a massive benefit and win to them, particularly the shows that cannot afford to have their own Google AdWords campaign. They may not be able to afford this. They are getting those searches that are coming back to them.
What's the minimum investment for somebody to get the co-op dollars?
That's a good question. It's not very, it's
Okay,
nothing at all.
500 or
So,
1,000.
Yeah, so
Okay.
anybody who's coming into town can take advantage
Yeah,
of this. It's
okay.
not just for the big players.
Yeah.
And there's been plenty of money, and it's worked perfectly up to this point. Now, I do know that after seeing, there were 2 or 3 shows that went off of the program, not Branson Show Tickets Direct, but off of the co-op program for this year, and they 100% want back and, and definitely want to be a part of this again. So I'm not sure how much, we'll need, but I do know that there's a very large level of interest of those who want to come back and be a part of this again, who went away and now are doing it. As far as how it's handled through Madden and through everything else, I mean, that's a completely different conversation. You can certainly delve into all those conversations, but
And I think that's
yeah.
where I would like to, for another day, that's something I'm concerned about or would like to talk about is that.
Yeah, yeah, and there'll most certainly be a time for that, yeah, for sure. But I know that's something that many of the shows have asked about, as far as moving forward.
Yeah, maybe we'll get Heather involved with some of those conversations.
Yeah, absolutely. And she's amazing. Both of these ladies too, by the way. I've always stayed away from politics. I don't like doing this stuff, it's just not my thing. But these ladies have truly been amazing. They are the best I've ever spoken with and tried to show them they just got it immediately. And the Chamber's been 100% behind this effort.
Yeah, I haven't heard that comment over past years.
I'm just telling you that, like, as soon as I call them, the door is open instantly. We have a meeting and they get it. They both get it. Like, this is the A+ team right here. And I'm not just saying that because I need them to do something for me. I really think that they are. It's amazing.
Many of us feel that.
Isn't
way.
that refreshing, Mayor?
Yeah. Oh, boy.
And Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
One more thing to add to that. The fact that we just had a chamber president and CEO say what she said about the importance of our live music shows in theaters, boy, how far we've come. How incredible is that? And I do want to say to the point, having this Branson Showtix Direct as a big part of this, because I don't think people understand how much this co-op program, we've been trying to get people to come to our box offices for so long. That's the goal of this whole thing, or a direct equivalent of our box office where 100% goes, right? So the fact that that's such an important and crucial part of this, I think can't be overlooked, because that's been the goal. And there's been many ways you've tried that, that many people have tried that, but this is crucial because it's going to actually grab that Google search and send them to a place that's kind of a one-stop shop, but they can go to the direct box office, and that's crucial.
And just to be clear, that's a beautiful point. Just to be clear, these searches go to individual show websites. There is no independent enterprise that is supported by this money at all. We only kick it over to BransonShowTicketsDirect.com, the community website, after the individual purchase on each partner's website is complete. That's real important to understand. So that only happens after this is done and after that purchase has already been made.
And the big picture is the more, I'm not telling you anything you don't know. The more dollars that go directly to the theaters will enable you to have more production in your shows, which increases the value of your shows.
100%.
That's right. It's just, it's so healthy.
Yeah, 100%.
Real quick question, Tim.
Yeah.
About the $50 ticket, and you guys back the tourism tax out of that.
Yeah.
Is that customarily what you guys do?
Some shows present it a little bit differently. They might say it's a, just round number, $43 ticket, and then add the taxes on top of that, if they want to present it like that. We and many of the other shows don't want the customer to drill down into all that. We just want them to say, it's $50, and then there's a $3, ticketing fee. And that's it. So it's $53 and you go on down the road. Because we found that we've tested out at different ways that if you put all the taxes and everything else, they start asking all these questions. Well, why is this? Well, why is this? Well, why is this? It's easier for us.
Because only Ticketmaster can get away with that.
Well, because, we've always done tax inclusive at our box office because, well, you gotta, there's a penny for the CID and then there's $1 for this. And then they're like, oh my God, it's like 14%. So we just, it's
and
easier.
my questioning, as long as it's easier for you, because my question is, I want you guys to get every penny you can, profit-wise, and and like I said, Ticketmaster, they add the tax, the fee, and you buy a $50 ticket and it's $105 by the time you're done.
And it's like a surprise, like,
exactly.
Whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah. So, but as long as you guys are comfortable with that, I think that's a great plan, and you guys have obviously split test that and seen the difference with it. So, kudos, bro. Great job. Your mom tells me about it all the time. So,
as far as the customer's perception of the $3 fee, we've never had a single complaint. Not even one. They're used to paying way more than that.
Ticketmaster's
$10,
like
$15,
$10.50.
$20. Yeah. So it doesn't even. We could probably raise it to $5 and they wouldn't even say anything. So, I do have a show at 7:30, but I appreciate your time. Yep. Yeah, thank you very much for all you guys do.
Tim, thank you very much.
You bet. Thanks, sir.
Your Honor, this is the first reading of Bill Number 6488, an ordinance amending Chapter 6 of the Branson Municipal Code pertaining to sales of intoxicating liquor. This bill was postponed during the September 24th, 2024 meeting. It has had a motion and second for approval and is ready for additional discussion and a vote.
Any member of the board wishing to speak regarding this matter? Anybody in the audience? Nobody from the board? You ready to vote? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign.
Alderman Schultz? I believe.
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure you voted or to catch your vote on that.
I'm sorry, I couldn't actually hear which bill we were voting on. It broke up just then.
So it is Bill 6488, the code amendment for the sale of intoxicating liquor.
Oh. Is there still time to make a comment, or are we past that?
Since you couldn't hear, we're open for comments. Glenn?
Thanks. I just wanted to comment. I want to thank Kathy and Alex, and especially Holly. We drilled into many of the questions that I had at the last meeting, That was very helpful. There's probably a little bit more in terms of this code to come. But what I want to say in general to the public that may be looking at this is keep in mind that we are just simply copying what's already in state law. We're not enabling anything new in the city. If we took no action at this point, people would still be able to do the same service of liquor through a restaurant because it's already in state law. All this does is simply copy it into our city ordinances so that if we wish to enforce some of this from a city perspective, if we think that something isn't going right in a particular establishment, if we wish to audit an establishment to make sure they're following the rules, that we have that capability at a city level. So I support the work that's been done here. And I think Holly will have some additional things for us at the next meeting.
And your vote is?
Aye.
Thank you.
I approve.
Thank you very much.
The result.
Sorry for that. Sorry for the technical issues.
The result of the vote is 5-0, motion carries. Your Honor, the next item is the public hearing and first reading of Bill number 6493, an ordinance amending Appendix A of the Branson Municipal Code pertaining to water and sewer rate adjustment of the utilities fee schedule.
We will now open up a public hearing and begin with a staff report from Kendall.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the board, administrative staff. Each year, we conduct a comprehensive study of operations, maintenance, and capital improvements needed to keep the water and sewer system operating at a sustainable, healthy level. We use the model to assess a broad look of 20-year outlook on improvements needed to maintain operations, and then focus in on the next 5 years. Just a little bit of history. We've developed this model in conjunction with a consultant several years ago, and the model has proven effective for us to keep and maintain operations. I want to highlight some funding sources that we operate off of. Our water and sewer rates are funds that operate, or that it funds our operations and maintenance of systems such as personnel costs, services and commodities, and equipment replacement. We also have the tourism tax, which has traditionally funded large capital projects such as treatment facility expansions, upgrades, lift stations, also water and sewer main extensions and replacements, such as 76 corridor improvements or neighborhood system improvements. We also have grant funding and also sewer sales tax funding that we also apply for as well. So in the slides themselves, I'll start the presentation here with our water capitals. These are capitals that are funded out of rates. So you'll see it's split up into two different categories. The upper category here is what we call our large capital items. So this will be equipment replacement such as pumps or electrical equipment that's needed to operate. And you'll see we have years 2025 through 2030 listed there. And then we have also funded out of water rates would be our equipment replacement such as vehicles and other equipment like backhoes and loaders and specialized equipment needed for that staff needs to complete their everyday task. So on the water capital side, we're averaging around $1 million a year in those types of replacements. And then on the sewer side, you'll see again broken up here and illustrating both the large capital replacements and vehicles. And again, on the sewer side, I believe we're averaging just over $1.2 million yearly in rate-funded capitals. And then I also included a slide in here for tourism to simply highlight the benefits that we're receiving from our tourism tax. Over the next 5 years, we're projected to propose approximately $57 million in projects. That's a huge relief on our water and sewer rates for both the residences and the commercial businesses of Branson. So the next 4 slides will highlight our rate, our proposed rate increases for the next 5 years. On these slides, we will illustrate our available cash that's we carry over from our year-end balances, plus our percent of rate increase, our reserve balance and reserve limits, and then existing and proposed base monthly charge and cost per 1,000 gallons used. So the biggest drivers for a cost increase are operation commodities, on the water side here is water tower maintenance, of course, personnel needed, equipment. We'd like to highlight, we're going to focus in on site security updates as well, and then also our network security updates for operations. So in the water, on the water rates, I have the residential pulled up here in this first slide. We've maintained the 3% increase for residential, as the same as we did last year. And on the water end, we're carrying over little over $3.1 million in cash. And so what that equates to as far as our reserve percentage, we aim for we're required to have 20% minimum reserves. And so we aim between 20 and 30%. And as you see in the slide, in year 2025 through 2029, we'll go from 29%, and we'll kind of dip down to 20% in 2027, riding on that edge of the minimum. And then we'll start to slowly pick back up in 2029, where we start, and later on in the model, when you look at it in a 20-year period, it starts to hover around between 25 to 35%. Which is our target in operations and maintenance costs. And again, you'll see our 20% low reserve limit is listed in there as well. And then in the bottom of the chart with all the numbers, we'll have our base rates for 2024. An example is the 3/4 inch is at $12.12 for the base rate, which includes the first 2,000 gallons. With a 3% increase, it'll go to $12.48. And then on the price per 1,000 gallons after that first 2,000 was $3.11. And with a 3% increase, it'll increase to $3.20. On commercial water rates, in order to maintain operations, we're proposing a 16% increase for next year. This will help fund our critical infrastructure or infrastructure replacements, and also support operational costs. Again, same reserve amounts as well. And if you look below, you'll see the base rates for 3/4 inches, $13.18 in 2024. And it'll increase, that 16% will increase it to $15.29. And then if you go on down to the price per 1,000 gallons, and that's $5.02, which will increase to $5.82. So an 80-cent increase there. And then on residential sewer rate increases, last year we did a 6% across the board for both commercial and residential. So this year I'm proposing to follow along with our methodology with the water side, and that's a 3% straight across the board for residential as well. And then you'll see on the commercials for sewer, I have an 8% increase. So on the sewer, we're doing a little bit better in sewer as far as our carryover cash, but we're going to drastically draw down our reserves pretty quickly over the next 5 years. You'll see it, we start off at 70% in 2025 with that 3% increase on residential, and it'll drop to 30% by 2029. And this is largely due to our water and wastewater master planning. On the wastewater side, we will begin to add flow meters to the system to better understand what capacities we have available for Branson development. And again, if you look at the numbers below, on the 3/4 inch size water meter, it's $10.02 currently for 2024 for the base rate, and that'll increase it to $10.32. The price per 1,000 is $3.17, and then it'll increase it to $3.27. On the commercial side, again, 8% increase is what we're proposing for 2025. Again, same reserve amounts. And then your base rates go from, on a 3/4 inch size meter, be $10.02 to $10.82. And on the price per 1,000 gallons, be $6.13 to $6.62. So I want to highlight what that looks like in customer billings. So in the left chart, we have the water illustrated, where we focus in on a 5,000 gallon usage for the month. And it would be, in 2024, you would have a $21.45 bill. And in 2025, with a 3% increase, you would have a $22.09 bill. So approximately 64 cents increase for a resident. And on the sewer, per month on the sewer, you're looking at a 59-cent increase on the residential side. So a combined total of $1.23 for monthly usage of a 5,000 gallons on average. On the commercial side, we like to highlight our 2-inch meters, because that's, we have majority of our commercial meters are 2-inch in size. And we base our example here off of 100,000 gallons usage per month. And on the water, you'll go from a difference with a 16% increase, you're increasing at $89.96 for that 100,000 gallons. And for sewer, you're increasing at $52.33 for a total of $142.29. So each year, we also take a comprehensive look at approximately 90 different entities across the state of Missouri, and then they also branch out to other tourism industries, such as like Myrtle Beach, Pigeon Forge, other places like that to compare ourselves to. You'll see in the upper left-hand chart, local area commercial water rates. We are highlighted in yellow there. So on the commercial side, we're starting to trend above the halfway mark in between the cities that we got highlighted here. And then on the right-hand side upper, you'll have a local area residential water rates. Again, we're still one of the lowest on the water rates. And then if you look at the bottom chart in the center, and this is illustrating a comparison to other entities that have surface water treatment and also biological wastewater treatment as well. And you'll see in the bottom chart on the very right-hand side, we're in yellow, and that's for the residential. That's important to highlight because a lot of entities don't use surface water. Surface water is more expensive to operate and maintain than well water, but it's more sustainable. The water table years ago was starting to drop, and Branson recognized that, and that's when we built our second surface water treatment plant, which supplies the majority of Branson with water in the mid-90s. And since then, the water tables have steadied out and started to actually rise a little bit and kind of fluctuate up and down depending on dry years or not. And so that leaves more water for other entities such as Public Water District 3 to our north or Missouri American to our south, as well as county residents that utilize their wells. And then this next slide, we're highlighting our local area residential sewer rates. Again, we're the lowest on this chart. And then the local area commercial sewer rates are still in the middle, kind of trending to the upper side of the middle. I believe that's it. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Kendall. That was very thorough. Thank you. Good information. Marshall?
Kendall, do you have a rough estimate of the percentage of our businesses that reach that 100,000 gallons per month?
I do not off the top of my head, but I can get that answer for you if you like.
So really, I mean, the commercial side's taking more of the blunt of it, which they should. Now, let me just say, I'm going to pay more to flush toilets at my theater, and I'm okay with it. If I wasn't an alderman, I'd probably go, what? But now that I see, I'm up here, what it takes to do this and been to the facilities, I get it. And I mean, really, you're looking at what, $1.23 a month for residential increase from 24 to 25, and then commercial was 142, something like that?
Yes.
Yeah. No, I get it. Nice presentation.
Anybody else? Any questions, comments from the audience?
One of the things I wanted to share on this topic, which I think is great, and to give some context again to folks that just aren't here, kind of echoing the mayor's comments. I know you've characterized it in this way. A couple years ago, we kicked around the idea of an equitable percentage increase between residential and commercial. Obviously, the staff report shows that it's 75% in favor of the commercial, and to your point, Alderman Cooper, it's fair that it goes that direction for one particular reason that comes to mind. There's others, but the big one is we talk about pledging to the residents who renew that 75%, 25% cost share on the tourism tax to convince them to continue to support $150 to $180 million of infrastructure, to tell them, hey, we're going to put the burden of responsibility where the load share is at, is a reasonable argument. And then just comparatively, residential and commercial, we have one of the best systems in the United States. There's only about 3,500 of them across the country, so we're fortunate to have one, and we're competitively priced. So again, it's another opportunity to be thankful for having it, and just remind folks that, hey, we are seeing you, we're seeing where you're at. You know, we recognize that we renew this tax, and those dollars are going into, 75% of them are going back into our infrastructure, our police department, our fire department, our wastewater, and then 25% back on the other side of the house from earlier in marketing. So thanks again, Kendall, for, it goes without saying, even some of the other things, cybersecurity and infrastructure, it's a critical sector in Homeland Security. I've had a chance to study that over the last 4 years, and Branson, Missouri, yet again, above the bar with everyone else in defending those critical resources. So a happy resident again. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex.
Mr. Mayor, I just want to make a comment.
Sure.
Over the last few years, getting Kendall's presentations and visiting the facilities and things like that, I literally, I brag about our community and the water system. I tell people, I put it up against any municipality in the country, and I bet you our water is far and above better than anybody else's, because we're not processing water for 10,000, we're processing water for 150 to 200,000 people a week. And kudos to you and your crew for being able to maintain that. I'm looking forward to the residential infrastructure things that we got coming on. And, it just gets better and better. Thank you, Kathy, for your leadership on that, too.
It was amazing when we took the tour out there a while back. Remember when the fluoride issue was up? It was unbelievable to see that. I don't remember that one area out there where it was the first level, and it goes. I would have drank it right out of that. It was the cleanest thing. Remember that? It was unbelievable.
Yeah, staff does a phenomenal job. And Branson is unique because of the tourism, where most communities have a steady flow expected throughout the year.
Right.
We have volume increases based on tourism. So that makes operational challenges with the water cleaning process and balancing the chemicals and to not put too much in and be cost effective as well. And they've not had any violations that affect the quality of the drinking water. We've only had one issue, and that was reporting on a website where you had to do 2 clicks to get access to the report. So these guys have done a phenomenal job over the last 20 years that I've been here, and they continue to grow upon it, and they keep a top-notch facility.
And Ken, we were out there in the room where they doing a lot of testing. Did I understand right that they actually test the water out there every 15 minutes or something crazy?
And sometimes, yes. And two, it depends on when it's flood events and you have different turbidity levels, which means there's a lot of muddy or silty water coming in. They have to run tests more often. So they're chemists. They're going through the process.
I was so impressed.
You have doing tests and make sure that they're reaching that optimum level.
Yeah. Hats off to you. Any questions, comments? Are we approved? What am I doing, audience?
You're still in the public hearing.
I want to close the public hearing.
Yeah.
Public hearing's closed. We don't want to hear any more of your comments.
And now it's ready
that'll
to
be recorded. You've heard.
And edited.
You have heard the first reading of Bill number 6493. Do I have a motion approving this bill?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Any other comments from the board? Hearing none, let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Thank you, Glenn. Ayes have it.
Thank you.
Your Honor, the next item is a resolution approving the disposition of surplus property. I did it. Well, you have to put it on the floor. I was waiting.
I'm in the middle of something.
Well, I know, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Do I have a motion adopting this resolution?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, and now a staff report from Hill.
So this resolution authorizes the disposition of surplus property as required by Branson Municipal Code Section 2-362, which says for individual pieces of personal property valued at greater than $5,000, the board approves, and then we can sell them. There are 15 items listed, and the auction is tentatively scheduled for the end of October.
Would you like to go through the list of items specifically, including
I would-
serial numbers?
I would be
asking
happy to.
price,
I would be
comps,
VIN numbers and
color,
everything.
VINs?
Sure can.
Last time the oil was changed. Any member of the board wishing to address this? Any member of the audience? Hearing none, let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it.
All right, Your Honor, the next item is appointments. The appointment process is in accordance with the board and committee appointment procedure for Category 4, which are appointments made by the mayor but not approved by the Board of Aldermen. Mayor, please announce your appointment.
I'd like to appoint Candace Cook to the Branson Housing Authority Board, replacing John Jeske with a term expiring October 2028. Thank you, Candace, for your willingness to serve. We're down to the report section. Alderman Denham.
Just want to say a great thank you to police and fire departments and the city support of the National Night Out. I had a great time. I took one of my littles with me, and we went to Point Royale and then to the Shady Drive, and he was so embarrassed, so he didn't like meeting all the people, so I had to, I went home, and we had a group that celebrated in our neighborhood as well. So a huge thank you to everyone and for their support. It is so nice to be able to go out and meet with people, meet with the community, people in our ward, find out, you know, what they're pleased with, what they're not pleased with, maybe take some suggestions, and that was really great. So thanks to everybody who participated.
Thank you, Ruth. Clay?
I just wanted to say kudos to our Parks Department, and I know Marshall's very involved in that, but I drove past Stockstill last night at 8:30 p.m. and looked over there, and every pickleboard court was just packed. I mean, and there was people waiting around just waiting to play. I'm like, it's 8:30 on a Monday night, and they are out there just pickleballing it. So that's cool, man, because a lot of people say, you know, all they care about is the tourists and the tourists and tourists, but it's very important that our local folks have a place like that to go. And what a great move switching that from tennis to pickleball. Anyhow, I just observed it as I drove by, and I wanted to mention that. And also, we're talking about ticket sales. I found a way to increase revenue by just adding 2 zeros to every credit card purchase at the theater. I had a little.
He's not joking.
He's not joking. I had a little oops the other day. Alderman Schultz's wife, Beth, and her friend came, and our credit card processor, for a few people, tens of people, added 2 zeros to every purchase on the credit card. So, for instance, one lady and her friend paid $140, and we charged them $14,000. Sorry about that, Beth. Out of all the people, Mike, this is the day it happens. Alderman Schultz's wife gets charged $2,000 on a $20 ticket. So I hope you got your money back. Did you get your money back? Oh, Okay, she's kidding. She did get a refund. Anyhow, that, if you guys want to explore making more revenue, that's a pretty slick way to do it. Sorry about that.
Move the decimal point.
Add 2 zeros.
Marshall?
Once again, I have to keep doing it. Branson Pirates 6-0, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, absolutely. Kendra and I decided we were going to make a trip up to Marshfield, a trip that I had taken many times when I was a part of the volunteer coaching staff years ago. And we were a little bit late, and by the time we had gotten there, they'd already got into running clock, which is when you're up by 35 points, they run the clock, right? So just kudos to Coach Hefner and the whole team. Just absolutely phenomenal. And they have got a huge one against Carl Junction. Not only is it where our coach is from, but his brother is the head coach.
Nice.
And they are the really the only remaining team on our schedule that has a winning record. So I think if we get past this one, fingers crossed, we could have an undefeated regular season, which would just be absolutely amazing. So kudos to the Branson Pirates.
That's cool. Ralph?
Wow. I don't know. I guess, man, these hurricane things are really kind of heavy on my heart just because I'm from South Louisiana. But, you know, I have friends and relatives that are living out in Florida. Just keep them on your mind. But, you know, it just gives credence to us being conscientious about our community. I mean, this summer we had some pretty decent storms that kind of wreaked havoc on us. And we kind of felt that, you know, angst. So I can only imagine what they're going through there. So, you know, as, you know, just for the country, let's continue to pray for them. And, you know, to Clay's point about the pickleball courts, I must have been right by you, not long behind you or something like that, because I seen that too. And I thought that was pretty cool. But, you know, again, it just kind of hits that point of, you know, what are we responsible for as a municipality, utilities, public safety, and lifestyle. And that, you know, just anchors that lifestyle component of it. So thank you, Parks and Rec, Marshall, and Cindy, and everyone else. So thank you.
Thank you. Kathy? Oh, Glenn. Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, thanks. I really don't have a report. I could give you a harvest report, but I'm sure that's not of such great interest to the Board of Aldermen. So I'll save a report for when I'm with you in person next meeting.
Thank you, Glenn. Few things. I had the privilege of attending the Terry Awards, and I presented the Mayor's Award to Velva Court. Those that know Velva know that she was well deserving of that. Very nice. Leanne and I also attended National Night Out. Last week, we welcomed the veterans and the military reunion planners. This was a group of out-of-area military reunion planners, and I had the opportunity to welcome them along with Pam Yancey and Becky Jewsbury and Kirk Elmquist. And you can imagine the four of us talking about why they should have a veteran reunion in Branson. Sold the show. Also presented the Crisis Center with a proclamation recognizing October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month for the whole month of October. I had a junior from Branson High School come and do an interview with me. They're producing a new publication, and enjoyed that. We'll see the difference of what I said and what gets written. Filmed commercials for this year's Veterans Homecoming Week out at where our Veterans Wall is at Fire Station 4. On our city's website now, you'll find a link, a very prominent link that you can click on to show all the activities during Veterans Week. It's a PDF, so it's easily printable. So if anybody asks what's going on or where can I get information, send them to the city site. There's a very prominent link. Again, thoughts and prayers go to Florida as this new hurricane approaches. Supposed to hit tomorrow evening, I understand. And just let's all continue to pray for those affected by Helene. That's really a tragedy in our country. Wouldn't hurt to put in a prayer for FEMA also. That's all I have. You laughing at me or with me? With? Just checking. Do I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So moved.
We have motion is second. All in favor signify by standing up and walking away from the dais. Meeting's adjourned.